As inflation and the tough economy take their toll, animal rescue situations are becoming even more prevalent, even here in the tri-states. Large pets and even livestock can find themselves homeless sometimes. Here in Adams County, there have been multiple reports to the Sheriff's Department about horses that were repeatedly getting out in the Big Neck area that's in northern Adams County. The horses were eating in fields and neighboring yards. Officials tell us the owner did the responsible thing this afternoon and surrendered the horses to someone who can give them a safe home.
So these horses were reported running loose through neighbors' properties for the last 3 months, and they were having trouble getting someone to take care of the horses. They weren't staying in their fences. I already deal with vets in the surrounding area, and I've already got a family lined up that will take the horses.
And also, Sheriff Anthony Grotens told us he was worried about the horses' safety. They could have been hit by a car, he says, and then caused injury to passing drivers. We're also told the horses had not seen a vet or a farrier in the past 5 years.